This is happiness, to be everything at once. Be unblinded, be unlearned, be unbridled and unburned.
Hey guys, welcome back to a brand new episode of Mood Prep. My name is Dave Nixon, and we are going to talk a little bit today about, this is definitely something I've discussed before in the past, but I understand sometimes I always get new listeners in, and it's also good to rehash. One of the key things that I think is so crucial to learning more, of course, about ourselves, but developing any skill and really becoming a high performer in any area, whether it be self-development, which is literally developing of self, like there's no shame in that, or in a high skill required field, or sporting endeavors, physical training, university, whatever it is, doesn't matter. But one of the key things is to go over things again and again and again and again and again. And that's how we condition ourselves to become better, right? Because we condition ourselves to be how we are today, for whatever reason we did it. And that's the interesting thing around conditioning, is about if we are doing some sort of physical conditioning, we fucking repeat it multiple times until it's just wired into how we move. Now, we did that with our thinking, whether we realize it or not. We wired it into us multiple times until it's just how we think. And so going over similar concepts or hearing things again and again in different ways is so fucking powerful, because it allows us the beauty, the opportunity of repetition. And with repetition, we have the opportunity to really reinforce and understand these concepts on a deeper level. And I think that's powerful. I probably went through a stage where I listened to about, it must have been somewhere over 100 hours worth of Jordan Peterson stuff, which was interesting. There's still some things that he's missing, especially from an integral standpoint. There's a really good podcast on the Daily Evolver that he did. He did 2-part podcast on Jordan Peterson, which is so worth listening to, because it says some areas that he's really, really missing, so to speak. However, I think there's a lot of good content there for a lot of people, male and female. I think having the opportunity to hear and flesh some things out is beautiful. But my point there being is that it took me a couple of times to hear some things for me to be like, fuck, that's actually really true. And it wasn't that I just was hearing it and starting to think because I heard it multiple times from quite an imposing figure. It was that I got an opportunity from hearing it multiple times to go deep instead of just going wide, right? Because when we hear a couple of things once or twice, or 100 things once or twice, we may know of or about 100 things, but we don't relate with it. We can't embody it. But when we start to hear things multiple times, it gives us insights and opportunities to go deeper and deeper and deeper. And so maybe we only hear 15 to 20 things, right? But we hear them multiple times. Rather than hearing 100 things twice, we hear 25 things, 8 times. It's like we can go deeper with our thought patterns and understandings on those 25 things if we do that. You bring that down to 5 things to equate the number of 200, which is just the number I chose today. Then we can even know those on deeper levels. So really going through and having the opportunity to hear things again and again gives us that, opportunity to know ourselves on a deeper level. Now, mind you, one of the things that sticks in mind with the Jordan Peterson example I gave you was that we are capable of evil. If you don't think that you're capable of evil, right? And I say evil as in we're all human. We're capable of everything on the spectrum, everything, right? People go, couldn't do that. That's not in me. It's like you don't fucking know yourself well enough, right? And if there was in circumstances where, I was like, I could never kill a person, and I'm all down for that sort of idea. Like I think it's horrible concept. But if there was somebody who was in a situation where they, horrible idea is that they're holding a gunpoint to a child or something like that, an innocent being, you have a decision to make, right? And in that decision, what are you going to do? So this is the thing that we got to look at here, and I start to understand that it's not as black and white as what we may originally think, or that in this example, we really are capable of quite, I'm going to use the word again, evil things. I mean, there's a lot to unpack in that. I understand, and I don't think this podcast is the one for it, because what I want to talk about in this podcast, which is actually in contrast to that point, it's sort of, it's a byproduct of that, I guess. I posted on social media again today. I quite enjoy doing this, where I can post something that I pull apart later on, but I'm going to explain to you how those sort of two things sort of do relate. But firstly, hearing it multiple times from Jordan allowed me to understand that I did have the spectrum. I had the capabilities on all, but it means if I have the capabilities to do the evil things, I have the capabilities to do the good things. I have the capabilities within me to do the right thing, if you were to think of it along those lines, right? And being in that space means that I have a choice every single fucking day. Now, I'm using external examples with this, external examples as in other people and things like that. But this is what's powerful, right? I shared this quote. It says, "You disrespect yourself every time you say yes when you want to say no. You call it loyalty, love, friendship. Really, you're just hoping someone will see how amazing you are and choose you. It shouldn't work that way. Choose yourself. That's how you teach them, by choosing you." I think I might have even shared this somewhat recently on here, but my point of sharing this again in this light is to understand that we actually teach people how to teach us, how to treat us, rather. And so we teach them how to treat us by the way that we treat ourselves. Now, often people end up being in this space of like, oh my God, I would never do anything mean. I don't have a mean bone in my body. And it's just a load of crap. And that person's constantly looking for this idea of reinforcing that they're a good person by trying to do good by others all the time and constantly wanting, actually what they're constantly doing, this isn't everyone clearly, but wanting to be reinforced by the other person that they're a good person. So that's why they're doing good. And that's not really a good thing, right? And sometimes they're so helpful that they're not helpful. Because if somebody's in need and we continually help them, guess what? That gives them fucking significance. And if we give them significance, guess what they keep doing? Keep doing. They keep being in need of help, right? And we feed that codependency. And so if we continually help because it feels good and that helps the other person, it actually fucking hinders them. Sometimes the best thing you can do to help someone is not help them. And when you don't help them, they have to be in a position where they help themselves. It doesn't mean we shouldn't help. It's what makes the world go around. I get it. I'm all for it. But there comes a point where we have to understand that just being the nice guy or the nice girl and saying yes when we really mean no is a lie. And that's not nice, right? That's disrespectful, because not only are you lying to them, you're just telling them what you think they want to hear. You're lying to them. You're lying to yourself, and you're lying to your core. You're lying to your soul, right? And like it says here, you call it loyalty, love, and friendship. And it is the furthest thing away from loyalty. Because if you can't be loyal to yourself, then who the fuck can you be loyal to? If you can't be loyal to what's true for you, what matters to you, who you really are, then you can't give yourself to other people to be loyal. Because it's not you, and you're not doing it for the reason of trying to be loyal. You're doing it for the reason to be seen as being loyal, so you can be liked. Because at the bottom of it, at the core of it, often we just fear, and so many of us are like this. Not all of us, but we just fear that we won't be liked, that we won't be loved, that we need this sort of external referencing to let us know. But at the core within us is that we are nothing but love. We are capable of many things. But the human soul is nothing but love in the moment. So don't fool yourself thinking that you're being loyal when all you are doing is searching for something that you already have inside. And it always goes back to the story, not to this story, but the story of the guy who lost his watch. And he asked his neighbour to help him, so they're in the front yard looking for the watch. And after a couple of hours, they're looking, and the neighbour goes to the person who lost his watch. He's like, "Mate," he's like, "the sun's going down. Where did you last have it?" He goes, "Oh, I last had it inside. I lost it inside." And he goes, "If you lost it inside, why the fuck are you looking outside for it?" And there's so many of us that need to hear that. There's so many of us need to understand that what we're searching outside, we lost inside, and we have to go in to find it. And on that note, team, I'm done. Thank you very much for tuning in. If you did find this podcast beneficial, it'd mean the world to me if you pass it to someone else that you think would also find it beneficial. It also, 21st, 22nd of September, I've been talking a lot about it. I'd love to see you there. There's only a couple of the 2-for-1 tickets left. That's it, and then it's done. The price goes up as of this Sunday as well, or unless they're sold out, and there's only about 3 left from my last count. So you should definitely get onto that. It's you'll find out more at davenixon.com.au/seminars, and also in the Mood Prep community group on Facebook. So you should totally join that. But on that, team, I'm done. Until tomorrow, you know the deal. Peace and pizza. Kick today in the dick and slay the dragon. I'll see you soon.
Happiness to be everything at once. Be unblinded, be unlearned, be unbridled and unburned.